Welcome to School Budget Form Training for fiscal year 2012-2013. We will walk you through each tab of the budget form, which you will receive populated with the information specific to your school on Friday, February 10th. Upon opening your form, you will begin on the Home Page tab shown in this screenshot. When you first open the spreadsheet, you will have to click on the Enable Content button in the bar at the top of the sheet. Then select the buttons that allow you to enable content within the workbook. This tab provides high-level instruction on how to use this form and buttons to help you navigate through the various tabs of the form. You can move to the various tabs within the form by either clicking on the corresponding buttons shown on the side of this page or by selecting the tabs shown at the bottom of the spreadsheet. At this time, we will begin with Step 1, reviewing your allocations.
At this time, you're ready to go on to Step 1, reviewing your allocations. By clicking on this link here, it'll take you to your total page where you can see the allocation for your school for fiscal year 2012-2013. By scrolling down, you'll see the amounts allocated to you in your general fund, by mill levy allocation, ECE and kinder allocations, state and federal funding sources, and non-SBB funding sources. Please note at the bottom it will show school operating funds centrally budgeted, and these are a representation of how much has been budgeted to your school that is not included in the SBB total you'll be working with in this form.
Once you have reviewed your allocations, the next step is to budget for all of your full-time positions using the school staffing tool. Please take a moment to become familiar with this tab. At the top left, you'll see your projected enrollment for the current year broken out by grade level. Scrolling from left to right across the top, you'll see the required and recommended purchases for your school broken out by funding source, including general fund, ECE and kinder allocations, if applicable, mill levy, federal funding, SIG, budget assistance, and FTEs budgeted centrally or from non-SBB funding sources.
Now, scrolling back over to the left side of the screen, we'll look at the form from top to bottom. You'll notice that the positions are broken out by admin, pro-tech, clerical, license, which would be your teacher positions, and at the bottom, finally showing the summary of the different staffing in your school separated by funding source. At this point, we'll go through a few examples of entering in different positions at your school. The first example I'll show is for a teacher that is a vacancy currently within your budget. By clicking on the cell here, please select the drop-down tab, scroll to the top, and you'll see the option for vacancy or the names of the employees currently within your school. And again, for this example, we'll use a vacancy. At this point, you can enter in the grade or course for that position along with the class size. That number will be deducted from the amounts you have to distribute in this top left portion. Next, scroll over within column Z to the type. This is where you'll go in and select the different type of position for that teacher. For this example, we'll use a regular supplemental teacher. Assuming this person is a full-time FTE, a 1.0, please enter that in this cell here. You'll see that it pre-populates with the average amount for that vacancy. Now, moving to our next example. The next position to be entered is going to be in the lines below, and please note that each position is broken down into 3 different segments, indicated with an A, B, and C. This shows that a position can be split funded up to 3 ways. For this example, we're going to be choosing an individual within your school currently that is going to be split funded using the kinder allocation and the kinder match. From the drop-down box, I will select a person that is within your building, scroll to the right to show the ECE and kinder allocations, noting the kinder state-funded amount that was within this budget, and selecting from the drop-down box here the correct job code. For this example, again, kinder state funded. For this example, we will use a 0.5 FTE for this portion of the position, which again pre-populates the average salary and benefit amount here. And in the next row down, again for the next part of this person's position, we'll choose the match portion. For this example, I'll use Kinder Match Regular Teacher at a 0.5 FTE. You'll see above that once these amounts are entered, the cells will turn green, indicating that the requirement has been met. As mentioned before, please be sure to indicate the grade and course and class size that corresponds with each position you enter. For this vacancy, we'll say it's a first grade teacher that has 29 students in the class. You'll note that the amount entered in this cell will be reduced from the students remaining to be distributed. Once you have populated this entire school staffing tool, this amount should be down to 0. Once all the positions have been entered into this tool, you can review at the very bottom by funding source and position type. Now you are ready to review all of the positions you have inputted in the school staffing tool on the next tab, which is the roster. We have also entered in a few other examples to populate positions within the admin staff, pro-tech, and clerical. You should review to see that all the positions you have entered are within this roster now, and you'll notice that it indicates the position number, FTE amount, whether it's a vacancy or an employee currently within your building, the ID number, grade that they support, students within the class, position description, and on the right, importantly, the account numbers that correspond with each position. This is important for posting job replacements or for PACE forms that should be entered prior to the school year beginning.
Once you are confident that you have completely staffed your school with your full-time staff, you can move on to the part-time staffing tool by clicking on the tab. Similar to the full-time staffing, you'll see a summary above that indicates the allocated hours for your school. Start by entering the account description from the drop-down box. For this example, we'll use an ELA Para. Then select the employee name or vacancy, as well as the job code associated with this position. For this example, we'll use an ELA General Assignment Para. You will see that the Kayenta account number as well as the Lawson account number populate in the columns on the left. You will also see that the hourly cost with and without benefits populates. Next, you'll have to enter the hours per day that the para will work, as well as the days per year. This total is then entered to the summary above. You will see this under the distributed hours. You can see here the remaining hours you have to distribute. Once all allocated hours have been distributed, this box will turn green. If you exceed the allocated hours, this box will turn red. You can also see on the right that your annual hours are populated as well as the total cost for this position. Once you have entered all of your part-time staff, you can see the total at the bottom.
Once you have completed budgeting all your part-time positions, you are ready to move to the Budget Input tab. This is where you'll budget all of your non-salary expenses. This is the last tab in the form where you'll be required to input information. Please take a moment to become familiar with this tab. This tab is laid out as a grid with all your funding sources along the top. The remaining balance to distribute row shows all the balances that are yet to be distributed within each particular funding source. You'll notice going from top to bottom the various line items that can be budgeted for. The input area of this form is color-coded for your convenience, where only the white cells are available to input amounts within a particular funding source. Once you have fully allocated all the dollars for a particular funding source, the amount remaining to allocate will equal 0 and the cell will change to green. For this example, within Fund 10, General Fund, I will distribute the remaining balance of $17,306 into the General Supplies account. you'll notice that the cell at the top for the remaining balance to distribute will turn green. Once all the allocations have been distributed, the cell here for the total will also turn green.
Once your budget is complete and balanced, you will review the Summary tab. This tab provides a breakdown of your FY 12-13 budget by expense, category, and fund. You will notice under the Summary that each category is broken out with the amount you requested in your budget, as well as the percentage spent in that category. You will notice that this tab also provides useful tools and graphs to illustrate where you have budgeted the majority of your funds. You will notice here there is a summary by fund. Broken out in this summary is how much is budgeted to each fund, including general fund, mill levy, grants, etc. At the bottom of this tab, you will notice an important checklist which will help illustrate whether or not you have completed all of your staffing and budgeting requirements. This checklist will also alert you of any potential errors contained in your budget and let you know of any forms that may be required. Here you will see that an ELA form is not required. A mill levy, however, conversion form is needed. You can see here that in this example, targeted intervention budgeting is complete. Mild moderate is staffed above the minimum. The nurse recommendation is staffed at or above the minimum, etc. It's broken out by fund so you can see that your mill levy requirements are met. Title I, parent involvement is complete. In this situation, an athletic trainer does not apply. You've chosen option 1 for your GT, and the appropriated funds has been completed.
The final step of this process is to then navigate from the Summary tab to the Non-Salary Account Report. This tab summarizes your school's non-salary budget and provides account-level detail for the non-salary items that you budget for on the Budget Input tab. In order to have this report generate the account numbers, you will click on the Generate Account Report shown here. As you will see, this table then populates with the information corresponding for each account, broken down by funding source, expense type, object description, the corresponding Kayenta account number, and the budgeted amount.
At this point, you have worked through your entire budget form. This form is not final until your one-on-one meeting with your financial partner has been completed. Please save this form to a flash drive and bring it with you to your meeting. Your financial partner will be using this information to input your budget into the final budget form. Once this process is complete, you will be sent a final copy of your budget for the 2012-2013 school year. This training has been provided to offer an introduction to the budget form. Additional information can be obtained from the 2012-2013 Budget Guidance Manual, which will be available on February 10th on the Budget Department website. Review sessions will be held on February 7th and February 8th to offer further help with budget forms. Please contact your financial partner for more information regarding these sessions. Thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you at your one-on-one meeting during budget development.